This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Again, any suggestions at any time, feel free to text Scott Becker at 773-766-5322. Thank you very much. We come to you regularly with short business episodes, short private equity episodes. Release one today on the good, the bad, and the ugly in private equity about different trends. Also interviews with brilliant private equity and business leaders, and sometimes irreverent or body of life type episodes. And today's one of those body of life type episodes that really comes from a suggestion from a close friend, close colleague. And the concept today is resilience and regrets, a Jackson Browne discussion. Resilience and regrets, a Jackson Browne discussion. So here's the concept. Jackson Browne's one of the great singer-songwriters of a generation ago. Those of us of that age are very familiar. Those that are younger may not be familiar. But again, one of the great singer-songwriters of that time. That was sort of the pre-rap time, but still fantastic. There was a singer-songwriters. And a couple of his songs that resonate the most with me today, we're talking about our Running on Empty, one of his great songs, maybe his most listened to songs. And I think of it as when you're in the doldrums, how do you get out of the doldrums? And there are great ways to do that. Exercise, friends, meditation, community, working on new kinds of self-improvement. And we'll talk about that in 1 second. There's other bad ways to do it. Eating your way through depression or over indulging in coffee, which we do sometimes. And, it is what it is. But I think this concept of resilience and running on empty is such a daily part of life for most of us that constantly thinking about when you're running on empty, how do you get yourself off of that empty? How do you start to self-improve again? And just a quick digression, 2 recent self-help books that I've listened to or read sort of in that category of business versus self-help. One is 10X versus 2X, which is a concept of looking big for goals. And sometimes I find that a hard way to get out of the doldrums or to move forward, but looking big for goals. That's a Dan Sullivan book. Dan Sullivan's the sort of miraculous founder of Strategic Coach. I didn't love the peer group concept of Strategic Coach, but I certainly love his thinking and his writing and his reading. And the more I listen to him, the more I read him, the more I really find things that are helpful. So he's got this kind of 10X versus 2X, which is a great way. If I'm going to try a new thing or do a different thing, if I just look at it as an incremental improvement, it's hard to make a difference. But I look at it as big improvement, big goals, sometimes it's easier to do. So I love that concept for, relating to running on empty and getting out of the doldrums. And then there's another book, another concept by a guy named Ed Mylett called The Power of One More. In day-to-day, I almost like this better for getting out of the doldrums and refocusing and going after things is the concept of one more rep, one more take on the podcast, one more effort to be better today. And those will all add up over time to doing better and getting better and feeling better and performing better. And this concept, I almost think of the 10X versus 2X as, one day to think about that, and then the power of one more to think about that all throughout the day, getting better and better. And I think of that when I think of Jackson Browne, running on empty, and resilience. That's concept one. The second concept is one of the great books or songs by Jackson Browne, great singer-songwriter, is called Looking Into You. And it's about paths chosen and not chosen, and try to live with those paths without great regret. You could have gone down this path, whether it was as a young lawyer, I could have taken the path I was offered at one time to join a private equity fund. And you think about how different your career and life would have been if you'd gone that route versus this route. This route, I ended up as a lawyer and as a business person, media entrepreneur and founder. And that's been great too, and probably suited me far better than that path. You think about these paths in every part of your life, and the paths that would have been the better fit versus the okay fit, the path you would have been passionate about versus stable with, whatever it might be, however you look at those paths, but always think about those paths and realizing in life that, yes, me becoming a young private equity associate, that path is closed. Some of these other paths in life that you can take, whether with close friends or going on the journey with a close friend and colleague, or trying to do a new type of road trip, or trying to do a new thing. Those are paths that even if you scoffed at those things over the years, like I was never one for long travel, but maybe in a different part of life, it might be the right path to take. I think about these two concepts. both resilience and regrets. There's a great song, Regrets. I've had a few. Most of us had, but looking forward, what can we do going forward to make life better, to choose the right path, to live a grounded and centered life that we're thrilled with, not just okay with? Those are the kind of things one thinks about. And again, I think Jackson Browne, I love the suggestion from the colleague. Love it to focus on a couple thoughts coming out of a couple of his songs. Today's concepts are resilience and regrets. Jackson Browne, they really come out of two of his great songs, Running on Empty and Looking Into You. I hope that people enjoy this. I'm always thrilled to get suggestions from people. 773-766-5322. We do regularly every single day podcast on 7 stories we're watching, 10 stories we're watching, the business stories we're watching. But sometimes I enjoy just as much these other podcasts about sort of pieces of life, bodies of life, somewhat irreverent, but somewhat also telling, I think. And love these 2 books that we've been working through. We finished 10X versus 2X. We're working on the power of one more. I love all these ideas, and I'm so thankful for people sending me these ideas. And thank you all. What a wonderful life. Thank you. Text 773-766-5322. We love your suggestions. My last thank you today goes to 2 people, Chanel Bunger, our magnificent producer, and Cosette Benjamin, tremendous researcher who really helped me drive the last private equity podcast, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Thank you for listening.